the year better, make it whatever.
Lynn, get your phone out and record it for me. This is
Like
about
you
to die.
said, we are the traders, triplets. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell a little story about.
You can do it too.
You get this higher.
In case one of the guys.
All right. About David and Goliath. Kind of classic Bible story, but he was a shepherd boy. And one day David was out, doing what shepherds do, tending to his sheep. And all of a sudden, his dad wasn't just in supplies to his brothers who were defending Israel in battle. Now, the problem with the battle was it had been at a stalemate for like 40 days because Goliath, the champion of the enemy, stood over like 9 feet tall, which I was that tall. So when David got there to give his brothers his supplies, he was like, "Well, I'll volunteer," because he had great faith in God and he wasn't really worried. So what he did when he arrived was he took a slingshot and with one stone struck Goliath on the head and killed him. Now, like David, we all have our own challenges. Those giants who stand in our way, right? So, I personally, having a disability, struggle with several. One of them is 2 years ago, I had an intense surgery that tested the strength of my faith in God. Every night I would cry out to God because of the immense daily pain I was experiencing. I didn't understand why God would allow this. But then I realized that my circumstances were only being used to strengthen my faith. Another challenge I face are social giants. A lot of people don't necessarily like people with disabilities, or they're not comfortable around them sometimes. It's pretty hard because you have to be a pretty special person to deal with my disabilities and love me anyway. Third challenge I face are those, everybody has them, right? Academic giants. Yeah. Up until 6th grade, my family and I were attending a public elementary school. But as time went on, it got exceedingly difficult for the school to accommodate my disabilities and my brothers. So my parents had a tough decision to make. We decided to homeschool. That has been a great solution to our problems. But a lot of giants I just listed have a solution, right? The homeschooling, we had a solution for that. Like Goliath, they can be defeated and done with. But most of the challenges we face are ongoing. Take David again, for example. When the current king, Saul, discovered that David had been chosen by God to be the next king, he got very, very angry. He tried to kill David. This was a giant that lasted for years. Another giant David faced that was ongoing was, after a huge victory, David was rejoicing to the Lord in the city streets. His wife, Michal, saw him and became disgusted with him. David then had to face her, his disgusted wife, and explained to her that he was dancing before the Lord and the Lord only, and did not seek her approval. Having his own wife hate him was an extreme ongoing giant for David. A third giant that David faced, kind of obvious one, was that he was simply human and he sinned, just like we all do. One day when he was observing a beautiful woman out his balcony, he planned to plot and scheme to take her away from her husband. His sins, like ours, were many. 1 second. Like David, my giants did not end with the 3 I listed earlier either. I still face the challenges of having a disability and trying to be social. There are still many more possible surgeries in my future, more giants that I will have to face, and I personally battle with my own sin daily. But we all deal with our own personal giant. But the good news is that God has a way out. Jesus Christ says in Matthew 11:28 through 30, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." What that means is, whenever you're struggling with giants, no matter how big or small, you can always go to the Lord for help. When my faith was tested during my surgery, I didn't know that. I told God how I felt and asked Him to deliver me. I had to read my Bible every day to do this. I prayed every single night for God's help. And after my faith was strengthened, after the purpose of this trial was complete, He did help me. My pain was not entirely gone, but my belief in that God could and would deliver me, He was strengthened. So, any of you who are struggling with giants, and we all have them, should not lose heart. God cares. Big or small, God is in the very details of your life. And listen, we are promised that God, not the giants, will have the victory. John 16:33 says, "I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulations, but take heart. I have overcome the world." Thank you.
This is Mason. This is Benjamin. This is Claire. And Claire also helps on Thursday nights signing to Dusty. Where's Dusty? To Dusty, she signs for Dusty. And then she also helps with Super Kids on Sundays. So thank you so much, traders. Do you want to stand here while I do the raffle? Okay, who wants to win a few things? If